I'm sorry, folks. I'm not here to explain something magical. It's mechanical, and it's also science. But don't tune me out just yet. This is interesting. Ever wonder how such an awkward-looking machine such as a helicopter is capable of multi-directional flight, or even flight at all? Well, I'm here to explain to you how these machines accomplish forward, backward, upward, downward, and hovering flight. Though a helicopter appears much different than an airplane, that it may defy the laws of gravity or requires magical powers to achieve flight, by design it maintains a critical balance of forces much like an airplane and is designed to fly. I promise you this. First and foremost, I will explain the wings of a helicopter that make flight possible. Yes, they are much like the wings of an airplane, though there are several of them and they rotate overhead around a hub. In helicopters, these wings are defined as rotor blades, but they are an airfoil, as are the wings of an airplane. This piece of paper is an airfoil. It looks very similar to the wing of an airplane and is also similar to the blade of a helicopter. You can see the relation. This diagram is an illustrated cross-section of an airfoil. An airfoil is defined in the Merriam-Webster dictionary as a body designed to provide a desired reaction force when in motion relative to the surrounding air. A better explanation: by changing the position of an airfoil, you are able to change airflow around it, producing a desired effect. The design of an airfoil uses what is called Bernoulli's principle. This principle was apparent to much of us as children, so I need not bore you to death with this Venturi diagram or any more of this Bernoulli guy's principle. Back to the simple explanation of the airfoil. When you were a child, you'd stick your hand out the window of a car. By changing the pitch of your hand, you were able to force the air around it in a different direction. So, by sticking your hand out the window of a moving car as a child and tilting it, you are able to change the velocity of air on the upper portion and lower portion of your hand, forcing your hand up or down. You may not have realized it at the time, but you were using your hand as an airfoil and producing lift, as described in Bernoulli's principle. By tilting an airfoil with the leading edge upward, also referred to as in changing the pitch, you increase velocity of airflow above the surface, decreasing pressure, and simultaneously decreasing the velocity of air below, increasing pressure. This combination of pressure decrease above and increase below produces lift. In a helicopter, the tilt of an airfoil is changed in several ways to produce lift in a desired direction. The rotor blades turn in a circular motion as a series of mechanical controls within the cockpit change the pitch of the blade, increasing and decreasing pressure. These three controls are very basic in understanding, though require precise complementary movement in order to achieve flight, preferably into the air and not the ground. The collective I have highlighted in red here. It's usually on the pilot's left-hand side, is used to increase or decrease altitude, moving the helicopter up and down in the air. It changes the pitch of the blades collectively and independent of their position in rotation. This will force the engines to produce more or less power, producing more or less lift. In forward flight, this control also will increase or decrease speed. The cyclic highlighted in red in this photo is usually between the pilot's legs, is used for directional control, such as forward, rearward, left, and right. The cyclic tilts the hub in the desired direction of movement, changing the direction of thrust. It is called the cyclic because it changes the pitch angle of the rotor blades cyclically, meaning the rotor blades change position as they rotate around the hub so that all blades will have the same incidence at the same point in the cycle. The pedals, in airplanes they're referred to as the rudder, but helicopters it's the pedals. Obviously you move those with your feet. I have them highlighted in red here in this photo. Are also used for directional control. The pedals change the movement of the tail rotor. In hovering flight, they turn the nose of the helicopter left or right. In forward flight, they are used to trim the nose of the helicopter into the wind to provide smoother and straighter flight. I've explained to you a few similarities and differences. As you can see, the same principles apply to the basic concepts of airplanes and helicopters. Let's fly.